Hey everyone, it's George from Blockchain DXB and today is the 23rd of August 2022 and to be honest, the market is not doing great at all. There is a very high possibility that we might just go below the $1 trillion mark once again. Now really I'm not sure what is going on with the cryptocurrency space, but the former Ethereum killer, that is EOS, is up by 24% and since the last 7 days it is up by well over 45%. And we are going to discuss in today's episode what is going on with reference to EOS. One of them has to do with the court case, and the second one is got to do with hard fork that EOS is going to undergo. And in today's episode, we are going to be discussing two technical reports, that is the Weekly Insight by Glassnode that talks about the inflow and outflows about Bitcoin and Ethereum. And we'll also look at CoinShares. They provide a weekly blog via Medium, and it talks about the inflows in Bitcoin and Ethereum, but today we'll focus more on Ethereum because the whole question is, with Bitcoin and Ethereum and the merge date kicking in soon, does Ethereum flip Bitcoin? And one question which I'd like to ask you guys is, let's say a decade from now, between Ethereum and Bitcoin blockchain, which protocol is in a position to reach 1 million transactions per second? And this is taking into consideration the whole blockchain trilemma problem. That is decentralization, security, and scalability. We'll very briefly touch upon that. And in today's episode, we'll also discuss some really interesting information so far as NFTs is concerned. Now, I'm pretty much sure you've heard of Telegram, and the CEO of Telegram wants to have NFTs for Telegram. That is the usernames, the links that you provide, and quite a lot more. And from UAE, there's a massive NFT news about obstacle course race. So there's a podcast called as Rise in the Obstacle Course Race podcast. They plan to release 7 NFTs. And these NFTs are going to be completely unique because they represent each emirate of UAE. So if you want to obstacle course race such as Spartan Race, Tough Mudder, Desert Warrior Challenge, or any obstacle course race, you definitely need to get your hands on NFTs. Regarding UAE, I have 2 news as well. And both the news is by Blockchain DXB. The first one is an event that takes place on the 26th of August till the 9th of September. It is a 3-part series on Bitcoin Beginner's Guide. And on the 26th of August, there is an Ethereum Beginner's Guide. And what I tend to do is every month, I start a series on Bitcoin where I explain Bitcoin at a very basic level, and the same thing with Ethereum. And the whole idea of me doing this is to educate the people of Dubai, Middle East, on UAE, on Bitcoin, blockchain, Ethereum, and cryptocurrencies. So welcome everyone, it's 18 here in Dubai and you're listening to Crypto and Coffee at 8, where we cover top news and information pertaining to Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. And how the series of episodes on the Crypto and Coffee at 8 works is, we usually cover some top news and information pertaining to the price of cryptocurrencies, some major breaking news, occasionally short and sweet news as well, news that has an impact in the cryptocurrency world. The other 2 news and information is related to Dubai, UAE, and Middle East from the cryptocurrency world. And this is followed by Ask Me Anything series, where you listeners can ask any questions about Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. And every Fridays we have Metaverse Everything podcast, where we focus solely on Metaverse. So please check out those episodes as well. And the format for Metaverse Everything podcast is completely different. And what I also tend to do is I also publish a daily weekly report via my LinkedIn profile, and my LinkedIn profile is in the show notes below. Alternatively, you can also go to the Blockchain DXB website and just look for the crypto blog section. You can also go to the Medium website or Substack and just type in Blockchain DXB. So let's kickstart today's episode. Today is the 23rd of August 2022 and I'm looking at the price at 4:30 AM Gulf Standard Time, and I wouldn't be surprised in the next couple of hours the cryptocurrency market does go below the $1 trillion mark. As of now, it is at $1.02 trillion, and since the last 24 hours, it is down by 0.34%. Now, the total crypto market volume has increased, and it is up by $69.52 billion, which that essentially means that a lot of people are actually selling their cryptocurrencies. Now, since the last 24 hours, the volume is up by 19.80%. The total volume in DeFi now, though, is down to $5.25 billion. Now, yesterday when we looked at the volume of DeFi, the total value docked had gone way below the $60 billion mark. But as of today, it has gone up and it is currently at $61 billion. That is the total value locked in DeFi. And DeFi accounts for 7.56% of the total crypto market 24-hour volume. The volume of stablecoins is at $62.52 billion, and stablecoin accounts for 90.57% of the total crypto market 24-hour volume. Now let's look at comparison between Bitcoin and Ethereum. So what I've been doing pretty much every day, and I'll try to do it till the merge date in a few weeks after the merge date as well. I'm going to be comparing Bitcoin versus Ethereum, and at a macro level, I do want to understand if Ethereum flips Bitcoin. Now if you look at the market share as of today, the 23rd of August, the market share of Bitcoin is at $409 billion. It's definitely gone down a lot, especially since the last 24 hours. Ethereum is well below the 50% mark of the market share of Bitcoin. It is down to $197 billion. The 24-hour trading volume of Bitcoin is $31 billion and Ethereum is $18 billion. And the dominance of Bitcoin is 40% and the dominance of Ethereum is 19.30%. So this begs the big question, does Ethereum flip Bitcoin? Now to be honest, it might take a little bit longer than anticipated because there is quite a lot of drama going on so far as Ethereum merge is concerned. The transition hopefully does happen smoothly, but there are a couple of forks which are going to be undertaken as the merge date approaches. And it is also possible that there are some notorious characters who have invested heavily in the Ethereum mining. They will try to do as much as possible so that the Ethereum proof of work continues to operate. Because at the end of the day, they have invested millions and millions of dollars and they do want to get their returns. But Ethereum 2.0 or consensus layer is definitely here to stay. And later on when we are talking about Ethereum versus Bitcoin, we'll briefly explore a brilliant article written by Mark Arjun. And he has written quite a lot of articles for CoinShares. The last week I talked about an article he had written, I believe, was on the 8th of August. But he's written a brilliant article a few days ago which also tackles the blockchain trilemma problem. So let's kickstart today's episode where we discuss about the cryptocurrency market volume. The cryptocurrency market is just on the verge of going below the $1 trillion mark. This is definitely not good. I did have an interview with one of the chief technical officers a few days ago, and he was under the impression that the cryptocurrency market is around the $4 or $5 trillion, and that is not the case. It is on the verge of going just below the $1 trillion mark. What is surprising though is the Ethereum killer called as EOS is up by 24.38%. If you guys have been in the cryptocurrency space, maybe since 2016 or so, you would have known about Dan Larimer. Dan Larimer at that point of time was often regarded as the Steve Jobs of cryptocurrencies. A lot of his followers did actually compare Dan Larimer to be smarter than maybe Satoshi Nakamoto. But a lot of the people from the Monero community did identify Dan Larimer as a scam artist, and I do remember Riccardo Spani often called Dan Larimer as the biggest scam artist. When the EOS had actually launched, he literally said that this is Dan Larimer's fourth scam. And fast forward 5 years now, he definitely seems right. Now EOS did raise $4 billion during the ICO. And what did they do with that ICO? They went ahead and bought Bitcoin. Fast forward to 2022, EOS is definitely not even in the top 50 cryptocurrencies at this point of time. There was a lot of speculations and rumors that EOS will overtake Bitcoin, and at one point of time, it was a strongish competitor to Ethereum. Now, if you look at EOS right now, since the last 24 hours, it is up by 24.48%, and since the last 7 days, it is up by 46.484%. Now, there is a brilliant article by Bloomberg that has actually mentioned the reason why EOS has gone up, and the answer is pretty simple. The company that manages EOS, called Block One, and that was the company that raised $4 billion, they had the court ruling, and the court ruling was technically not in their favor, but it still turned out to be positive, and I'll tell you why. They raised $4 billion, and the Court of New York fined them $27.5 million only. Now imagine, if you were able to raise $4 billion as a security, and in return, if you have to pay only $27.5 million, it is definitely a bargain, and that is the reason why Last week, the price of EOS jumped 15%. Now, this is not the right matrix, but unfortunately, that is the reason why. Now, what has happened since the last week is EOS is planning to have a hard fork. So, the EOS community-run framework called Antelope, which is developed by EOS Network, Telos, Wax, and US Network, they are planning to have a hard fork. Now, I don't want to get into the details because right now the project is kind of dead. I remember they had purchased a domain name called voice.com, and you wouldn't be surprised whom they purchased it from. They purchased it from Michael Saylor for $30 million. There was so much hype when they had purchased voice.com, and the whole idea was that it would work something similar to Twitter but using voice. The biggest drawback of that project was they wanted to do KYC, and EOS would have all your passport, your social security number. And one of the comments which Dan Larimer said is, rather than trusting so many people, why don't you trust us and give us your KYC information? That for me is a massive big no. Anyways, fast forward now, the voice.com project is dead, and they've switched from a social media platform talking about voice on the internet, something similar to Twitter, to an NFT platform. Imagine an NFT platform being called as voice.com, a complete failure. But if you do want to find out what the EOS upgrade is, on my link, you will get a direct link from the EOS Network Foundation. So please feel free to go ahead and read through it. Now let's look at some technical information. And what happens is Glassnodes provides a weekly insight, and the information that they provide is extremely technical. So I'll very briefly run through it. They talk about the inflows and outflows of Bitcoin, and Glassnode mentioned that due to weakness in underlying network activity, there has been a sell-off last week, and that is to do with Bitcoin. It is one of the reasons why the volume of Bitcoin has gone down. Unfortunately, there is not much information about Ethereum, but CoinShares weekly blog has confirmed last week has seen a relatively low volumes, not just for Ethereum or Bitcoin, but for the entire crypto community. And this is something which I talked about in yesterday's podcast as well. So please feel free to go and listen to the episode on the 22nd of August under the Crypto and Coffee at 8 section. CoinShares blog did also confirm that Ethereum has seen a 9-week run of inflows totaling $162 million. The article states that Ethereum saw weekly inflows totaling $3 million and has seen a turnaround in sentiment since mid-June as there has been improving clarity on the merge. So the whole merge situation is definitely helping Ethereum, and Ethereum has seen a 9-week run of inflows totaling $162 million. Unfortunately, that is not the case for Bitcoin. So my big question to you guys is, with Ethereum being less than 50% of Bitcoin, is it possible in the next 12 months or so, does Ethereum flip Bitcoin? CoinDesk has a brilliant article where they explore Bitcoin versus Ethereum. And an important point that they mentioned is that yesterday, that is Monday, investors did try to invest quite a lot of funds in Ethereum, and they've taken the data from an analytical firm called Geico. The links of all of these are in my LinkedIn profile. And right now, guys, I'm looking at the Crypto Fear and Greed Index. It is still at fear and at 29. Hopefully this changes. My understanding is towards the last quarter of this year, this Crypto and Greed Index might change. But my price predictions and predictions in general are 100% right 50% of the time. So the big question is, between Bitcoin and Ethereum, who reaches 1 million transactions per second? Now, so far as Bitcoin is concerned, Lightning Network, not blockchain, is a possibility where it would be in a position to reach 1 million transactions per second. But Bitcoin Magazine has published a great article that explores the channel jamming problem in Ethereum, and currently developers are working out ways to brainstorm potential problems and test the solutions for certain shortcomings of the Lightning Network. In case if you do want to find out more information about Lightning Network, Peter Woolley has a brilliant video explaining what Lightning Network is. And if you are a developer, I would definitely recommend you to follow Peter Woolley. At a basic level, Andreas Antonopoulos explains what Lightning Network is. And me personally, what I think is Lightning Network does solve a lot of the problems that blockchain protocols fail to solve. It solves security, it solves scalability, it also solves privacy to a very large extent. But with reference to Ethereum, how will Ethereum fare with reference to reaching 1 million transactions per second? Now, Mark Arjun from CoinShares, he has put up a very brilliant blog. It is literally 2 pages long. I would really urge you guys to go ahead and read through it. What he says is that Ethereum's modular approach to blockchain design allows for optimization with each component and eliminates some of the inefficiencies seen in monolithic blockchains. That is a very basic explanation. And he takes into consideration the blockchain trilemma problem, that is decentralization, or distributed, how I like to call it, the security issues, and scalability. You have to either compromise in one or two of them in order to increase transactions per second. But looks like with the Ethereum merge date, it does solve a lot of the problem. And he says that probably in a decade's time or so, both layer 2s and sharding will each increase the throughput by 100 times, and bandwidth is expected to grow 50% per year at least for the next decade or so. So the big question is, a decade from now, between Bitcoin and Ethereum blockchain protocol, who reaches 1 million transactions per second, keeping in mind the blockchain trilemma situation, that is decentralization, or distributed, how I'd like to call it, security and scalability, without compromising in either of these three. So let's look at some news about NFTs, and the massive news is about Telegram. Telegram wants to make pretty much everything an NFT, and most probably they might be right. Pavel Durov, who I believe used to live in Dubai, and the whole idea from Telegram also drew from Dubai, but I could be marginally wrong, he has proposed an idea of auctioning usernames and links as NFTs, and he might be right. And there is an interview of him with Decrypt where he states that he suggested that millions of reserved Telegram addresses could be auctioned as assets on the blockchain. If you have thousands of followers on Telegram and different addresses, all of these things could be transitioned into NFTs. So definitely brilliant move. The next news that I'd like to talk about is where I am a co-host of a podcast called Rise in OCR Podcast. And what we want to do is we want to release 7 NFTs for Obstacle Course Race. Now, just a brief overview, what is Obstacle Course Race? It is running with different obstacles, such as you need to do a couple of monkey bars, you need to do a couple of barbed wire crawls, you need to carry a couple of heavy sandbags in some really tough terrains, and that is essentially what Obstacle Course Race is. But me and a co-host of mine called Amin Mombani, what we plan to do is we plan to release 7 NFTs for the Rise in OCR podcast, and these 7 NFTs will represent each emirate in the UAE. And the whole idea is to promote obstacle course race such as Spartan Race, Tough Mudder, Desert Warrior Challenge, Old School Challenge, and any locally born obstacle course race in the Middle East. The whole idea is to promote obstacle course race, the athletes in the UAE. I do strongly believe that NFTs will play a significant role in Metaverse, and with Dubai Metaverse Strategy, I do feel that the 7 NFTs released by the obstacle course race will play a significant role in Dubai's ambition in being the number 1 city in the region and the top 10 city in the world. So let's move on to 2 news from UAE. The first one is about an event that takes place from the 26th of August till the 9th of September. And this is a Bitcoin Beginner's Guide. And it is a 3-part series. The first one is on the 26th of August. Second is on the 2nd of September. And the final one is on the 9th of September. All of these sessions start at 11 a.m. Gulf Standard Time and end at 12 or 12:30 Gulf Standard Time. Now, the initiative is to train, educate, and consult the people of Dubai on Bitcoin and blockchain technology purely in line with Dubai blockchain strategy. Now, the link for the event can be found on eventbrite.com, or you can also go to my website, that is www.blockchaindxb.com. Or guys, if you want to attend it, just drop me an email to info@blockchaindxb.com. Now, what I'll do is I'll quickly run through the structure of what I'm going to be talking about on the 26th of August, on the 2nd of September, and on the 9th of September. On the 26th of August, I'll be talking about the history of Bitcoin, the projects before Bitcoin, the prior problems with cryptocurrencies, the double spend problem, what was the double spend problem, and who is Satoshi Nakamoto and why it matters, and why Satoshi Nakamoto does not matter. And on the 26th, I will also talk about how Bitcoin actually works, the whole blockchain technology. I'll explore what goes in a block and what goes in a chain. On the second session, which is on the 2nd of September, I'm going to be talking at a very basic level on what is BFT, that is Byzantine Fault Tolerance. We will do a general discussion on the Bitcoin white paper. We will look at what is private key, what is public key, and what is SHA-256, that is Secure Hashing Algorithm 256. And the biggest innovation of Bitcoin is a combination of hashing algorithm, mathematics, and cryptography. At this point of time, you don't need to be worried too much. The sessions will be at a very basic and beginner level, so you don't need absolutely any technical expertise. On the 2nd of September, I'll also talk about how Bitcoin mining works, the halving of Bitcoin, and the mining difficulty target explained. But don't worry guys, it's going to be at an absolutely basic and beginner level. Even a 5-year-old will be able to understand what I'm going to be talking about. And on the 9th of September, I'm going to be talking about the Bitcoin market share and something which I talked about earlier. There's this talk about Ethereum flipping Bitcoin. So we'll be going ahead and exploring what the Bitcoin market share is. We'll also try to make a quick comparison if Bitcoin will sustain during the merge period, or will Ethereum flip Bitcoin maybe during the merge period or maybe a couple of months or years from now. We'll also talk about the different forks of Bitcoin. We will also touch base on the Bitcoin Lightning Network and Liquid Network. And a few days ago, when I posted on LinkedIn, the topic was Lightning Network, not blockchain. That got a lot of views and it got a lot of likes as well. So I'll go ahead and explain what the Lightning Network is. We'll also talk about the different types of Bitcoin. That is Bitcoin Cash, Bitcoin Satoshi Vision, Bitcoin ABC, Bitcoin Gold, Bitcoin Core, quite a lot. Very basic level. We'll also look at the pillars of Bitcoin and open blockchain, which is popularized by Andreas Antonopoulos. We'll make a quick comparison between open blockchain versus private blockchain. And we'll also discuss how to buy and sell your Bitcoin or hodl your Bitcoin, but I'll not be giving any investment advice. And finally, we'll also be looking at the current and the future state of Bitcoin. The second news is also a session, but this is on Ethereum, and this takes place on the 26th of August from 2 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. Gulf Standard Time. So the session is called as Ethereum Beginner's Guide. Once again, this is done in line with Dubai Blockchain Strategy, an initiative to train, educate, and consult the people on blockchain technology. And once again, guys, you can go to eventbrite.com, type in blockchaindxb.com, or you can go to my website, blockchaindxb.com, or drop me an email to info@blockchaindxb.com. This is just a one-off session, and I'll be talking about what is Ethereum, the history of Ethereum, the projects before Ethereum, the difference between Ethereum and Bitcoin, and we'll also try to have a debate if Ethereum would actually flip Bitcoin. We will look at the challenges faced by Ethereum, the Ethereum London hard fork, which I personally think was, if not one of the most brilliant things to happen in Ethereum. We'll also discuss the 5 upcoming stages in Ethereum, that is the merge, the surge, the verge, the purge, the splurge. And the merge has a date which is on the 19th of September. So we'll talk about that at a very basic and beginner level. And in case if you want to get involved in Ethereum, what are the steps that you need to take, how you can build on Ethereum, and what are the competitors of Ethereum. Now throughout history, there have been numerous Ethereum killers such as EOS, Solana, Algorand, Avalanche, so we'll be discussing that as well. And we'll also finally discuss the current and the future state of Ethereum. These sessions are going to be completely free and at a very basic level, so no technical expertise is needed. But once again, guys, I will not be giving any financial advice. And in case you guys do have any feedback or suggestions, or want to even talk about it, you're more than welcome to drop me an email to info@blockchaindxb.com. So that's all for today, guys, from the Crypto and Coffee Date from Blockchain DXB. In case if you guys have any feedback or suggestions, drop me an email to info@blockchaindxb.com. You can also check out my website, that is www.blockchaindxb.com. Also check out my other website, that is area2071.com, that talks everything about Metaverse. And if you like listening to this, please follow this podcast, give it a 5-star rating, and share the word across. Now for the next 30 minutes is going to be an Ask Me Anything series, where you listeners can ask any questions about Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. So let's kickstart with the Ask Me Anything series. Hey everyone, it's George from Blockchain DXB. You're listening to the Ask Me Anything series, where you listeners can ask any questions about Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. And how this series of episodes on the Crypto and Coffee a Day works is, we usually cover some top news and information pertaining to the price of Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. And how this series of episodes on the Crypto and Coffee a Day works is, we usually cover some top news and information pertaining to the price of cryptocurrencies, some major breaking news, occasionally short and sweet news as well. The other two news and information is related to Dubai, UAE, and Middle East from the cryptocurrency world. What you're listening to right now is the Ask Me Anything series, where you listeners can ask any questions about Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. I have a question by Mark who asks, what are some of the challenges so far as Metaverse is concerned? Now, this is a brilliant question, Mark. And what I'll try to do is I'll try to answer this question in three different sections. The first one is at an individual level, what is the challenge? At an individual level, the simple challenge is understanding what Metaverse is. A lot of people still do not truly understand what the use case of Metaverse is. And straight off the bat, Metaverse is at least a decade from now. So I wouldn't be surprised if by 2030, we do actually start seeing the real use case of Metaverse. So biggest challenge is to truly understand what Metaverse is. The best example I can think of is the movie Ready Player One. Now I must admit, the book is much better than the movie. I did watch the movie and I loved it, but people who actually read the book, they absolutely hated the movie. So the best idea or recommendation would be to actually go and read through the book Ready Player One. That is the true use case of Metaverse. So at an individual level, trying to understand what Metaverse is, what Metaverse is not, that gives you a very good indication. Now, as much as we dislike it, Mark, Meta or Facebook is going to be the leader in meta industry. They are investing $10 billion. That is a humongous amount. And a few days ago, Mark Zuckerberg actually did put up a selfie of his, which is an image, and people trashed him because the quality was absolutely low. And just 3 days ago via Instagram, he actually mentioned that he took the photo just to show what it is, as opposed to focusing on the quality. But at an individual level, trying to understand what Metaverse is the biggest hurdle. Now from a business point of view, the same thing again, trying to understand what Metaverse is. I have been actively researching on Metaverse, and I'm a little bit surprised. A lot of people still don't truly understand what Metaverse is. Now I'm literally talking about businesses. The first thing that businesses actually talk about is NFTs and game and play. Now, yes, these are the true cases, and these are not the only cases of Metaverse. If you look at Metaverse, it needs to solve the five senses. That is the ability to see virtually, the ability to touch virtually, the ability to feel virtually, the ability to smell virtually, and the ability of just being present virtually. Now, as long as businesses truly understand that, that is the true case of Metaverse. That being said, there are also a couple of platforms like Roblox, which works only in a web format. I really don't think so, that is Metaverse. That will be Metaverse once it gets connected, let's say, to virtual reality headset, augmented reality headsets, and mixed reality headsets. Then we are in a situation, then we are truly utilizing Metaverse so far as Roblox is concerned. So from business point of view, there's some of the challenges are the actual hardware. The hardware needs to be much more user-friendly. You need to create a hardware which is something which a person can wear it maybe for 5 to 6 to 8 hours. Think of it like a mobile phone, but the current headset, you could probably wear it for maybe an hour or 2 hours. But as time goes by, and as Meta is investing $10 billion only on building the virtual reality headsets, a decade from now, it is possible that the virtual reality headset will be as easy as putting sunglasses, maybe even lighter than that. That would pose a serious threat to the mobile industry. Why use a mobile phone where everything you can do using your virtual reality headset, but the whole idea is to solve the user experience. There's also augmented reality which needs to be built on, but again, Mark, these all things will get solved in a decade's time or less. The third obstacle I can think of is from the government point of view. Now in Dubai, the government is very supportive. They're taking quite a lot of initiatives and strategies. But if you look at it at a macro level, the government needs to understand what Metaverse is. As a matter of fact, on the 19th of August, I did release an episode called Metaverse Everything where I discussed how Metaverse could actually be a shortcut in curbing down inflation. So, these are the things which I think are currently the obstacles, but it will gradually be solved as in time goes by. And to be honest, Mark, by 2030, I do think Metaverse adoption will be 100% mainstream. So that's all for today, guys, on the Crypto and Coffee at 8 from Blockchain DXB. In case if you guys have any feedback or suggestions, please drop me an email to info@blockchaindxb.com. Also check out my website, that is www.blockchaindxb.com, and also check out my other website, that is area2071.com, that talks everything about Metaverse. And if you like listening to this podcast, please follow this button, give it a 5-star rating, and share the word across. And remember, Mondays to Thursdays, 8 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. we have Crypto and Coffee at 8, where we cover top news and information pertaining to Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. And how the series of episodes on the Crypto and Coffee at 8 works is, we usually cover some top news and information pertaining to the price of cryptocurrencies, some major breaking news, occasionally short and sweet news as well, news that has an impact in the cryptocurrency world. The other two news and information is related to Dubai, UAE, and Middle East from the cryptocurrency world. And what you're listening to right now is the Ask Me Anything series, where you listeners can ask any questions about Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. Thanks so much for listening, guys, and have a great day ahead. Bye-bye.